Judges, when deciding this debate, choose the safety of the minors being decided by medical professionals who have years of expertise in this field and who genuinely know what's best for a teenage child. Before I begin my speech, let me start off with the definitions. The final say is basically the ultimate final decision in a medical um, treatment. The minors, as said by the info slide, is someone under 18 years old, a child or a teenager who is not yet an adult. And in many countries, parents normally make the final decision about their child's medical treatment, such as surgery or medicine. Medical professionals are basically the doctors in the hospital, and the parents are mothers and fathers, the guardians of the minors who have their own perspectives and opinions on the child's well-being. So before I begin with my argument, these are all the points that my teammates and I will bring up. Firstly, the doctor's knowledge and information. Secondly, their best interests. And thirdly, accountability. Now, on to my first and only argument, that the doctor's knowledge and information is the best. Firstly, I would like to characterize that doctors clearly know the best about any medical treatment that anyone receives, anyone regardless of age receives. They have to go through years of medical school, exams, and training, receive residency, get a license to prove that they are capable, because this is considered a serious profession where people's lives are on the line, and every single factor is considered when a doctor becomes a doctor: their qualifications, what practicals they have done, what accomplishments they have achieved. The other side might say that instead of the doctor giving the final treatment, the minor should, or perhaps even the parent, right? On and on about how it's their own body. But this is not the approach we should take. With non-medical people, they have their own personal biases and perspectives, even religion that could interfere with what operations they take that can potentially save their lives, something that my second speaker will elaborate in more detail on. But more importantly to my point, they are not as knowledgeable as the doctor, who knows exactly what is the right treatment in every situation, whether
Yeah.
it is, yes?
Um, you say that um the doctors should be like the people who make the decisions, but what about the parents? The parents know more about their child and their parents know more about their child and their needs. So why don't the parents make the decision?
Again, I have already answered it. What you're saying is that doctors actually know the best about the body. The parents might know, hey, they are allergic to this, maybe as little as that. But in the end, do they know like how the organs work, how your anatomy works, and what illnesses, what treatment should be given to this specific condition, and so on? They don't. They can watch as many doctors shows as they like, but they won't have as much experience or knowledge as a doctor does. Okay, continuing on, but more importantly to my point, they're not as knowledgeable as the doctor, who knows exactly what is the right treatment in every situation, whether it is a surgery to remove a tumor, to get precise to which specific medicines. Parents and minors might think they know the best about their body and saying that, hey, I don't think a surgery is necessary in this case. Pills should be enough. But and in the end, the doctor really knows the ins and outs of illnesses, organs, diseases, like I said. There have been several instances in, for example, surgery where parents have snuck foods to their kids before a major operation, only to find out that their child choked and ultimately died during the surgery, despite doctors giving warnings and advice to refrain from doing so. Or Steve Jobs, for example, personally choosing to take alternative medicines instead of a surgery to remove a tumor, which inevitably led to his death, saying that he regretted the decision nearing to his end. This exactly proves our point that, as harsh as it sounds, non-medical professionals should not be trusted with any final medical treatment for the greater good of the minor, for their ultimate survival. The impacts is that the minor's lives will be saved with only accurate, objectively correct final medical treatments being given to them. In conclusion, because we don't want to risk the loss of a young life at the hands of the lack of knowledge, doctors should have the final say in a medical treatment concerning minors. Thank you. I've never been prouder to propose.
Today, I'm very honored to be here to share some of our team's viewpoints with everyone. But before I start, I would like to define the topic for us. From this topic, we can find two main points, which are the medical and also the minors. Well, medical basically means that drugs being used, the surgeries being performed, etc. And while the minors means teens and those who are not adults. Well, now I would like to talk about my own ideas. Parents are the long-term guardians and supporters for the child, but doctors are not. Doctors focus on kind of how to circumcise the child quickly and efficiently, but not take into the account the possible physiological impact on the child due to his physical and also mental health. Parents, on the other hand, will consider these factors. Secondly, do you guys all consider that for some of the families, there might be religious influence at play, and there could be something that those families themselves are uncomfortable with? When all the decision-making powers is handed over to the doctors, will this cross their moral boundaries or touch upon their beliefs? And finally, I would like to say that professional knowledge does not equate to the most perfect judgments. Doctors may be more knowledgeable than parents in the field of biology, but in the life, parents definitely have more say than doctor. For example, when a child needs an puncture, the doctor might consider how to prevent excessive bleeding, but parents consider how to make child's future life better without being laughing. Therefore, we believe that this matter should not be judged by a single entity alone, but rather by combining the two perspectives. To sum up, our team strongly disagrees with the topic that kind of the doctor will do all those decisions than the parents want, because first, it's my kind of make those families and comfort and touch their bonds, their beliefs, and also kind of professional knowledge doesn't mean the perfect judgment. Thank you.
I have some rebuttals to make. You said that these families might be uncomfortable, which is a fact. We accept that. However, it's people's lives, especially children's lives, who are potential and precious filled and potential filled lives that could go so far. It should not be sacrificed simply for religion and beliefs that the parents believe in and the child doesn't even get a say in. And secondly, even though these are uncomfortable and might affect the child's mental well-being, there are psychiatrists and psychologists and therapists who can help with that within the hospital staff as well. Moving on to my arguments. Firstly is about the best interest. Factors like religion, people like Jehovah's Witnesses can interfere with children's lives, and though these adults are respectively loyal to their beliefs, children should not be able to just be sacrificed and just die simply because this is what the adults believe in. There is no doubt that 99% of the doctors out there are fully trained and qualified medical professionals. What proves this? Well, they've had to receive a bachelor's degrees for completing medical school, then complete a lot of residency, and of course get a license like my first speaker has briefly mentioned before. Now, getting through years of complex, stressful learning and paying expensive school fees, as well as leftover debt after that, requires extreme commitment and passion. A certain amount of it, to be fair, because it means they truly want to become a good doctor for the better good. For whatever reason, it is likely to be positive, like the urge to help make a difference in the world. Now, bear with me. This means that they care very much about the hard-earned picture and perfect picture image so that nobody could ever even think and dare to doubt their expertise, but also see them as a morally good person overall. Therefore, they would not want any positive things they would not want any negative things, such as maybe losing a life of a patient under their watch or making the wrong call or decision go on their record. This means that they will try extra hard and certainly have the best interest for any patient, regardless of any other factors, possibly especially a child whom they may see as full of potential and motivate them even further. This is in contrast to the parents' views. Because as I said, there's the religious views that some parents are extremely religious and would be willing to sacrifice their child's life for it. But also, secondly, because some parents, for example, some teens might be pregnant and the parents might support abortion. However, the doctors may think that this is a life and it's their job to save this life as well. So it's really different. And my second argument, it links to this also. It's about accountability. Like I said before, similarly to my first argument, doctors want the best for themselves and for the people they're trying to help. Maybe some groups of medical professionals may, for some unlikely reason, not want the best for others, but they will still want the benefits for themselves. Medical license and terminations are a doctor's worst dream. Like, what would they want their fallback career plan to from a great aspiring doctor to be a fifth grade science teacher in some random community school? Probably not, which means that they will try harder and and considering that they will have to take accountability for any mistakes they make, they will be like really focused and be like, oh, this cannot go wrong, this cannot go wrong, this must go perfect. I will have to think about this like for whole days and whole months in order for the child to have the best experience, the child to live. No, thank you. In
Your
conclusion,
time is up. Yeah.
in conclusion, if a doctor is a professional, has knowledge about this, has the best interest of the child at heart, and will be willing to take accountability for it if anything goes wrong, they should be the person who makes the final decision of the child's medical treatment. Thank you.
Proposition's main argument hinges on the belief that doctors are the more trustworthy and always have the best judgment and the best interest of the child, without taking into account of other factors such as the parents and child already making an agreement before and not. Instead, they adopt a jaded view of parents and guardians and thinking them as unable to think objectively about their own child's health. Think about what you would want, a decision made by a medical professional or our parents, those who raised us and those who have an intimate connection with us. We are not dismissing the trustworthiness of doctors, but we have to take into account that parents know their child. They have raised them. For most, we would trust our parents, but the results may vary. As we know, parents can very well be abusive and force children into their ideal image, but we can solve this, as I would touch on later. This debate truly hinges on who has the child's best interest, the parents or the medical professional. Starting off, doctors always having the final say can undermine parental authority and risks of paternalism, which refers to the actions taken by individuals, organizations, or governments to influence or restrict the behavior of others based on the belief that such interventions serve the individual's best interests. Overriding parental authority may undermine family autonomy and parents' legitimate role as guardians and making holistic decisions for their child. They take into account social and emotional factors, while doctors simply don't have access to a child's personal life. And medical judgments mostly don't consider broader family or cultural values. Proposition may argue that doctors can see the beauty procedures in a more objective view, but this could be harmful for various reasons, because it can undermine religion, as some religious people do not want their children to take drugs, as my first opposition speaker has stated. Furthermore, studies show that doctors could be just as harmful, even if unintentional. Studies for pediatric plastic surgery indicate complication rates ranging from approximately 1.6% to around 20 to 30%, depending on the specific procedure and context. Therefore, this argument is invalid because it makes doctors sound infallible, where in reality it is not. And for our side, we are not doubting the expertise of doctors. We are simply saying that we should take everything into account, not just physically, but psychologically and socially. Because medical expertise doesn't always align with the parent's wishes or a child's psychological needs, and there is ethical complexity to this argument. It's not a black and white. Doctors should just get the final say because they are more objective. It should be a shared decision and should consider external circumstances, especially in such a subjective area. In conclusion, while professional medical opinions should be valued and taken into account, doctors shouldn't get the final say because it can undermine religious values and risk paternalism and still might damage a child's health. Thank you.
Judges, would you trust medically informed people, or in this case doctors, or your uninformed parents who did not spend their whole life like the doctors studying for this exact moment? The opposition are saying that they trust their parents or legal guardians who are not properly informed about medicine and what to do. The doctors went through many years of training, years of medical school, and getting their license, just to be standing there diagnosing you. Surely they know more than your parents. We, the proposition side, strongly believe that medically informed doctors should have the final say in medical treatments. Before I start my clashes, I have a few rebuttals to make. First of all, the opposition side said that parents know most about their child. Even if they know most about their child, they still don't know the how to diagnose their children properly. Doctors have years of experience. They have been through medical school, and they committed just to become a doctor. And secondly, proposition up sorry their side said that doctors are not the long-term parents. Yes, but even if that is true, doctors, as I said before, still know more than the parents do. So in the end, I think we should. I think. Sorry. I think that. I think that parents shouldn't have the final say. Moving on to my clashes. Today I have one clash to make. Side opposition said that doctors might make the children uncomfortable because of their religion. Um, people people who are religious, like for example Jehovah's Witnesses, can interfere with medical things and can end their child's lives. There are many accounts that this happened and ended up with the minors in the family gone, dead, and and this could be dangerous for many reasons. Um, Overall, medical professionals want the best for their patients, and therefore they should, and therefore they are the best at diagnosing your child, and secondly treating your child. So in the end, um we think that doctors or medical professionals should have the final say in medical treatments. Thank you.
This house believes that the final say in medical treatment of minors should not belong to medical professionals instead of parents. First, before I start my clashes, I would like to give some rebuttals to what the proposition team said. So one of the proposition speakers said that in order to not let grade 5 science teachers be better than doctors have to work harder in order to make that happen. So this seems that they're not really caring about the child. They just don't want to get beaten by grade 5 science teachers. That's why they are working hard. So now I would like to start my clashes. I have one clash to make. So my first opposition speaker and my second opposition speaker has stated this. Because of culture, families don't want their child to use drugs, and it's also part of their culture to not let children use drugs. And also, it's the parents' choice to make child's do surgery or not, because they know the kids for probably like as long as they were just born. So they know them really well in order to make the final decision. And also, they accepted one of our facts, and they never really made a POI during our opposition speech. So consider this as they agree with our points. We should win. Thank you.
Students, after going through this intense debate, I believe our side should have won this debate. Because first of all, as our viewpoints, we have very clear, simple, and also right viewpoints. That, for instance, doctors are experts in biology, but in fact, a children pays more attention to their mental health and their future life. Secondly, we have accurate data and excellent examples and simplify everything to make it easy to understand. For example, the child who had an amputation. And to the prop side, I think that your speech is kind of good, but you still have some points that need to be better. For example, the doctor really wants to have the children health, and they will not harm them. But in some chance, they actually will. And to sum up, our team strongly disagrees with this topic, and I believe that our side should won this debate. Thank you.
Here are some strategic mistakes we've made on the other side of the house. Throughout the entire debate, they failed to acknowledge that our benefits outweigh theirs. So they said parents know best, especially the psychological impacts. Yes, and you're right that we accepted one of your points, but we rebutted it because they still don't have logical or professional knowledge. While hospitals can also provide the therapist, child psychologists, or other people to help with the child after the treatment is done. What we're saying is that while doctors have both objective and knowledge and can offer psychological help with the help of their team, parents only have the psychological part, many of which don't even truly contribute or understand to their own children's treatment. This shows that even on their best case, our worst case still has more advantages than theirs. They also mentioned, would you want to trust your parents or your doctors? I'm certain the child would say the doctor, of course. They are the ones who ensure that we actually live. And I am 100% certain that no child in the world would want to just die right away on the spot when they have so much potential in their life. All their points are basically about personal preferences and religious views, but are easily rebutted by our simple argument that doctors are the ones who make sure we continue breathing. If you don't have your life, then the rest doesn't even matter. Then you don't have the ability to make any personal preferences at all. Also, your evidence is irrelevant because your statistics are based on plastic surgery, but it is not technically really a final medical treatment. We're talking about medical treatments. We mean you have a tumor in your head and you need to get it removed immediately because it's fatal or anything like that. So in conclusion, your characterization and framework is built on one really, really big assumption that what parents know about their child actually matters. Well, it doesn't, or at least not as much as when it comes to saving your child's life, medically speaking. A parent might know a child loves sports, so they refuse to do the surgery, but that child could die. And eventually, in the end, it doesn't even matter what that child likes or what their hobbies are. Which is why we believe that our side should win. Thank you.